a big news item for a couple of Twist 500 companies is that Udio maybe, and Suno, the two AI music generating companies, give them a prompt, give me, I don't know, Benson Boone in the style of Dire Straits or whatever.
Yep.
And they'll kick out a song for you. They are actually working with the labels right now, Jason, to come to some sort of agreement about royalties. This would go in kind of exchange of the lawsuits we talked about on the show before.
Yep.
I'm not surprised to see that they're coming to the discussion table here. My question is just, will the Udio and Suno business models work when their central cost of revenue goes up quite a lot?
What happens in this industry is the music industry is extremely coordinated. There are a couple of different groups. There's like the people who own the mechanical rights, the lyrics, the songwriters, the performance, and there's different studios, Warner Brothers, Sony, which owns Columbia Records, and they all basically hit you from all different sides, multiple lawsuits, and then you're put into the position to having to settle. And the settlement is typically like, how much money have you raised? We'll take that plus 50%. It gets really gnarly because once they have you having infringed, you will never be able to recover. Peloton got themselves in trouble because the teachers were teaching and the music was in the background, if you remember that one. And man, it was a very painful settlement. I have been involved with startups who've had to go through this. The music industry does not play around. I think they will demand 80% or 90% of the revenue generated from these startups and millions of dollars in settlements for back infringements. And it is absolutely brutal. The thing I'm seeing in the marketplace is people are actually having musicians record chords and different types of music, and there are royalty-free licenses to music. So you will not allow people to make prompts like Dire Straits, but you could say, give me, blues or guitars or finger-picking guitars, in a raspy voice. You'll be able to describe it otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be one of the settlements, but that will happen, or one of the workarounds. There is stock music that people will use for exercise videos now, as but one example. So you can buy royalty-free stock music for your podcast, for your movie, etc. And so that's the workaround here. But this is going to be absolutely insane. And they'll take equity as well in the companies. And I think that happened with Spotify, right?
Yeah, exactly what I was going to get to, Jason. So I think they might be able to get away with paying a little bit less because they're essentially going to give up a chunk of their flesh to the labels in these discussions. So if you go back in time to 2008, as you just said, Spotify got its deals in part because it gave up single-digit amounts of equity to a number of labels. And according to Music Business Worldwide, who had kind of some old accounting documents, Sony got 6% of the company at the time. Now that got diluted, but Universal got 5%, Warner got 4%, and a group called Merlin that does indie rights distribution, as far as I can tell, got a point as well. So these equity packages, if you will, could be quite large. So we're talking maybe 10, 15% of these companies. But if that lets them keep operating, okay, I can see that. But I mean, if I'm an investor like, Andreessen led the last Udio round and Lightspeed led the Suno Series B, I mean, you had to see this coming. So I presume that
we predicted it. It would absolutely happen.
Baked in. Yeah.
Sometimes people go for this like beg forgiveness, don't ask for permission. I would say that's a very bad strategy when it comes to IP law. For founders listening, this is an area where you don't want to F around and find out. Because what you will find out is that the music industry has incredible lawyers and they will make an example of you and they will just grind you down forever. And basically, you will have to shut your company down in all likelihood. I wouldn't be surprised if these companies get shut down based on this.